Hi, good evening, everyone. We're back with another episode of Critter Cares. Today, we're talking about what we should feed our reptiles, and we're mostly going to concentrate more on turtles and tortoises. And today happens to be World Sea Turtle Day. So it's great that it's World Sea Turtle Day today, and we're talking about reptiles. Reptiles are actually my personal favorites, and I love reptiles since I was a kid. My first ever pet was a red-eared slider, so I'm very passionate about them. So today we're going to talk about what goes into taking care of them, and also what you can and what you can't feed them. So first, what we're going to start off with is we're going to learn how to differentiate between a turtle and a tortoise, which is where a lot of people tend to get confused. I just have some pictures to show you. So this is a red-eared slider. A red-eared slider is a turtle. It's one of the turtles that it is legal to keep as a pet. These are native to North America. They are not native to India, and they are not Singapore. They are not Malaysian. No, these are North American. They're red-eared sliders, and these are legal to keep as pets. They're actually pretty common, and a lot of people have them. Let's go to the other one. This is very commonly seen as well. This is an Indian star tortoise. This is an Indian star tortoise. Indian star tortoises are protected under the Wildlife Protection Act of India, and it is illegal to keep them as pets. These are not pets. They are under the IUCN Red List, and their population has gone down mainly because of the illegal pet trade. So I would tell a lot of you, like, if you are planning on getting a pet, please do not go for these are Indian. We need them in our forests. We don't need them in people's houses. They are not pets. Okay, we have another one here which I commonly see. This is an Indian roof turtle. These are also protected, and they are illegal to be kept. They cannot be kept as pets. This is an Indian roof turtle. Whatever they may say, Malaysian, Singapore, no, this is an Indian roof turtle. I'll show it to you again. Okay, you can very easily even look it up on Google. This is a flap shell turtle. These are soft shell turtles, and these are also on the IUCN Red List and are illegal to be kept as pets. Please do not keep these as pets. They are not pets. This is a crown river turtle. I have seen some of these as well that are kept as pets, and please do not keep these as pets as it is illegal. We'll talk about what you can do if you have them. We'll talk about that a little later. But the only turtle that we commonly see is the red-eared slider, and this is the only one that is actually allowed to be kept as a pet, which we commonly see. There are other reptiles. There are iguanas. Some people also have geckos. They have snakes, which are kept as pets. These are not Indian, and they're not protected under the Wildlife Protection Act, and they can be kept as pets, but only if you know how to take care of a reptile. There is a lot that goes into taking care of reptiles. It is absolutely not easy. So I'm very quickly going to start talking about red-eared sliders. Oh yeah, one more thing actually I forgot to talk about was how do you differentiate between a turtle and a tortoise. Alright, turtles live in water, and they also come up on land to bask, whereas tortoises or tortoise, they are terrestrial. They live on land. They cannot swim, so they cannot be put in large tubs or tanks of water because they will drown. Alright, so the easiest way to differentiate is that turtles, just like our red-eared slider here, they are quite flat. Alright, they're not round. Their shell on top, they're quite flat, and their feet are webbed. If you can see, their feet are webbed. So it's very easy to tell that they are swimmers. Whereas if you compare them to tortoises, which are these guys, these are our Indian stars. So they have a roundish shell on top, and their feet are thick. They sort of look like elephant feet because they are meant to stand, push up, and walk on land. They are meant to walk on land, and they're not meant to be in water. Alright, so let's talk about red-eared sliders. So red-eared sliders are one of the most commonly seen pets, pet turtles that we see. So these guys are native to North America. Again, they need an entire tank setup. They cannot be kept in tubs or buckets. So I'm just going to show you an example. This is a diagram of what a red-eared, oops, I'm sorry. Oopsies. Lost that. Yeah, okay, here we are. Okay, so this is how a red-eared slider's tank should look like. This is a diagram. Alright, so they need water. Again, they need deep water. Okay, so the water is about, and the depth is 2 times that of the turtle's length, because they also dive. They dive into the water. They need to swim. These guys are swimmers. Okay, and minimum, I would say that a tank size required for a red-eared slider is at least a 4 feet by 3 feet tank. Alright, so if you're planning on getting a red-eared slider, you need to have that kind of space to put that large tank. Okay, they need a basking area, so which needs to have a UVB lamp or access to sunlight, because sunlight is extremely important for calcium metabolism in these in turtles, tortoises, and other reptiles as well. Okay, so they need a basking area. The water, now again, the water temperature needs to be maintained. So they're very comfortable in a temperature of about 28 to 30 degrees. So especially in the cooler weather, even in the winters, November, December, I like to tell people to put an aquarium heater. These aquarium heaters are very easily available in the market. So an aquarium heater really helps to just maintain the temperature. Since reptiles are cold-blooded, their temperature varies with the temperature of their surroundings. So if the temperature of the surroundings is low, their temperature is also going to fall, which will further slow down their metabolism. It's going to cause respiratory problems. Alright, so we need to keep their temperature we need to keep the temperature constant. We need to keep the temperature at in a zone where they are comfortable, which is when they are going to be healthy, and they are going to keep eating. They're going to they're going to be active, etc. Okay, so this is an example of the kind of setup that a red-eared slider needs. Alright, okay, this is just another picture of a tank. Okay, so you can see there's the red-eared slider. He basking under the light. This is a UVB lamp. They've put 2 UVB lamps in this case, but in India I feel like where we are warm enough, so 1 UVB lamp, and that's what the turtle can decide where they want to go. Okay, so this is a large tank. It's not necessary to put the decorative plants and pebbles, etc. It's really not necessary, but a large tank with a basking area with access to UVB light and water which is at the correct temperature is a must. So in these cases, for these red-eared sliders, we don't need to take them out of the water, to roam around and things like that. They don't need that. If they have all that inside their tank, they have a basking area, they have obviously you can put certain tunnels and things where they can go inside and hide. So these kind of things that are available already in their tank is what is going to help them. So you actually need to make that, and you need to maintain the temperature, and they will decide whether, if they're too cold, they will come up and bask, they will sit under the light. If they're warm enough, they will go back into the water. It is up to them to decide. All right. Okay, so let's come to feeding red-eared sliders. What do red-eared sliders eat? So a lot of times when people first get red-eared sliders, they are literally coin sized. Okay, so these are literally hatchlings. All right, they're really tiny when they first come into people's houses normally, and I'm really sad to see that almost 50% of them don't make it. It's either because they are too cold, what they are being fed is not the right kind of food, that their enclosure, their tank that they're kept in is literally those, the ready-made plastic tanks with the little fake coconut tree and things. This is what is actually available in the market, and which is what the pet stores sell. So this is absolutely, it's not ideal for them. They will outgrow it very fast. They have no place to swim, they have no place to actually come up and bask. So these are certain things you need to know before you decide that you want to adopt a reptile. Okay, so when the red-eared sliders are young, they require a higher amount of protein in their diet because they need it for their growth. So at this stage in their lives, they will eat more non-vegetarian food. Boiled chicken, boiled shredded chicken is great. Prawns, even mutton. Once in a while, they can have some chicken liver. So any kinds of meats are great. Turtle food. Now turtle food is honestly not a complete food for these guys, like we say with some other animals, that the commercial food that we get is a complete balanced diet, but it's not the case for turtles and tortoises. So turtle food should form about 20% of the diet. It's not their entire diet. So a coin-sized red-eared slider honestly would easily eat about 10% of its body weight. So it needs to be. Please go to a vet who knows this, who will actually tell you how much to feed them according to their weight. So and what to feed them. So just turtle food is not enough. Okay, so as these guys grow, their requirement for that protein reduces. So once they reach their adult size by about 5 to 6 years of age, so they shift to a more vegetarian diet, so to say. So in a vegetarian diet, so even when they're small, you need to introduce them to leafy vegetables, carrots, pumpkin. So about like once a week they can have a small piece of fruit like apple, grapes. Some of them even like mango, but it's really sweet, so just a small amount of mango. This is all just once a week and a really small quantity. Otherwise veggies, like you have carrot, lettuce, you have pumpkin, there's coriander is also a snack. So too much coriander becomes junk food. Okay, so a lot of green leafies, bell peppers, different colors in bell peppers, corn. These are some things that these guys enjoy eating. Okay, so when they're young, yes, and like 80% of their diet would be non-vegetarian, but as they grow, even when they're young, you need to start introducing vegetables so that they will eat vegetables when they grow up as well. Okay, because a high protein diet when they have already finished their growth period is not good for them, and it will adversely affect their kidneys, and a lot of them also tend to become obese because of overeating, and that affects their liver. Okay, so and full grown red-eared sliders do not need to eat every day. Their BMR is really slow. Okay, these are reptiles, they are cold-blooded. Their BMR is way slower than mammals, so they do not need to eat every single day. The adults sometimes eat as they get older, like 10 plus, etc. They will eat probably once or twice a week. So for adults, daily feeding is not required. You can feed them every alternate day and they will be just fine. okay, because and they are red-eared sliders are greedy. They will literally eat anything that you give them, okay. They are so greedy, and they will eat, they'll eat anything. Like I've seen them eating paneer, I've seen them eating like random chapatis, etc., okay. But this food is also really bad for them. Again, just like we had spoken about birds, dogs and cats, chocolate, chapatis are a big no-no. Any milk and milk products are a big no-no for any reptile, okay. May it be a snake, a turtle, an iguana, anything. Milk and milk products are just a big no-no for any reptile. So even during certain festivals when snakes are fed milk, a lot of the snakes die because of this. So this is something that shouldn't be practiced. Okay, so we've discussed the diets of our red-eared sliders. Okay, I'll just repeat it really quickly. So initially when they're younger, a higher protein diet. As they grow up, it's a more vegetarian or more fibrous diet, alright. And they do not need to eat every day when they're older. Yes, when they're younger, they do eat around twice a day at least. And once they've grown, they do not need to eat every day. So you can feed them every alternate day. All right. So let's come to our Indian stars. Okay, these are protected under the Wildlife Protection Act. You cannot keep them as pets. Okay. I am sorry, little bit of a technical glitch again. Okay, so we're gonna talk about our Indian stars. Okay, so these are terrestrial, they're herbivorous, okay. They eat vegetables. Like 90% of their diet is vegetarian. Yes, in the wild they will go and eat dead insects that have fallen on the ground. Yes, that does happen, but I wouldn't recommend that you feed them these things at home if you have a red-eared slider. So for a red-eared slider, first let's talk about the kind of enclosure that they need, alright. It's not enough that you just let them loose in the house, alright. These guys need sunlight, okay. They need an area to cool off. They need a place to hide, okay. So this is something obviously it's not over here, but this is an enclosure that someone has made in their garden abroad, all right. So they've grown plants. So these guys like to even hide under plants. So if they have plants with large leaves, they will go and hide under them when they want to. If it's too hot, they'll, it's shelter for them from the harsh sun as well. They have a shallow tray of water which they can go and soak themselves in and drink water. Yes, they do need a water bowl to drink water out of, okay. Not just the water that you will be soaking them in the mornings. They need a shallow dish of water where they can go and drink water, okay. So if you can see, there's a water bowl right here, okay. Then there's a little tunnel that they've made here for the tortoise to go and hide in whenever they need to, okay. And they've grown some plants that they can munch on, okay. So, and this is another setup that I recommend. This is something that someone's done inside their house, okay. So again, there's a shallow water dish, there's a hiding place. This is actually, they've put coconut husk chips, but you can also use soil as a base. Again, there's a UVB lamp here because this is indoors, so they need UVB light if they are not getting access to sunlight, alright. But sunlight is obviously, natural sunlight is much better than a UVB lamp. You can have both, okay. So this is the kind of setup you need to have for your star tortoises. So star tortoises again are herbivorous. They also so for them, a lot of green leafies, lettuce, but not iceberg lettuce. You can give them bhindi. So now bhindi is something that a lot of people give their give their star tortoises, but it's not something that is a complete meal for them. Yes, once in a while bhindi is fine, but they need a lot of variety. Okay, you can give them things like zucchini, they can have broccoli, they can have again pumpkin, so green leafies, they can have carrot greens, they can have beetroot greens, they can have muli ka patta, shepu, durva grass. Yes, durva grass is great for them. um, they also eat flowers, so hibiscus, which is apna jaswant ka phool, then rose, marigold, and they are attracted to colorful things. So when you give them colorful food, like there are some tortoises that like red, some like orange, some like green, but I always tell people to mix it up. Okay, so you give them a wide range of colors, let them like walk around, let them choose, they'll pick and choose what they want to eat. And so these guys will, when you just leave a plate of food every day, okay, it's not enough, because in the wild, they of course they need to forage, like we spoke about in our guest talk. We spoke about enrichment. These reptiles also like to forage, they like to walk around, they will sniff things, they'll pick up stuff that has fallen on the floor, things like that. So they need to walk around, they are curious. Yes, reptiles also need enrichment. So for them, just hide the food in certain places, and they like to walk around and they don't eat their entire meal in one go. Okay, so you need to do that for them, you need to provide that. All right, so ideally, of course, Mumbai houses, this is very difficult to do, and these of course are not meant to be kept as pets, but there are a lot of people who have had them for years, and honestly it would be very difficult to rehabilitate them at this point in time. But you can enrich their lives by helping them, by giving them the right kind of food. Okay, chapati is not good for them, absolutely not. Nor is any so even non-vegetarian sources of food is way too, like, that's too much protein for them. It's going to cause kidney failure, because it's going to build up a high level of uric acid in them. So yeah, no non-vegetarian food for them. But veggies, yes. Fruits also, again, once or twice a week a small piece of fruit is okay. They love watermelon, so try to give them seasonal fruits whenever you're giving them, because yeah, seasonal fruits, these fruits are what grow in that season, and it's what the body needs in that season. For example, watermelon in the summer is full of water, so it will help in the heat. So, and again, with these guys, you cannot keep them in the AC. It's going to cause respiratory trouble. Another thing, they need UVB light, they need sunlight every single day. Yeah, every single day. And they need the choice to go out into the sun whenever they want to, or under the lamp, and come back if it gets too hot for them. Okay, and also in their enclosure, it'll be great if they have levels, like, so that's what in Mumbai houses, if we can't make a wide enclosure, we can at least have levels, so they can climb up, climb down. It is good exercise for them, it's great for their joints and muscles. Okay, and it's great for their lung capacity. Even our red-eared sliders, when they swim, it increases their lung capacity, it makes them stronger. Okay, so these are a couple of things that you need to follow for these guys. Okay, so I think we've covered pretty much everything that goes into the care and the diet of red-eared sliders and tortoises, so turtles and tortoises. The dietary the diet is similar when it comes to other turtles as well, but yes, there are variations, but we won't really go into the details of those. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. You can always DM me if you've missed the live session, and this will also be posted on IGTV, and I hope this helps a lot of you understand reptiles better. I just want to add a short note in here about iguanas, because I know some people who also have iguanas as pets. Um, so for iguanas, iguanas are herbivorous, okay? Just because they look huge and they look like dragons, that does not mean they're carnivores. They're herbivores, okay? So giving them chicken, dog food, cat food is not ideal and is harmful to them. So again, green leafies, they follow a similar diet to turtles and tortoises, and vitamins, calcium, etc. Don't give it unnecessarily unless your tortoise or turtle actually needs it and it's been prescribed to you by a vet. Only then should you give it, and there are certain ways of giving it. When you put vitamin drops in the water, in the water, it's not going to serve any purpose, okay? So the vitamin drops either needs to be put directly in the mouth, which is again very difficult, or it needs to be put on a piece of food which they eat. It's the only way that it's actually going to go inside, okay? This is one of my very old patients, Uma Patel. She asks, do they understand human talks and human talks and touch? Okay, so they don't have a very good sense of hearing, but they can hear, of course, but they do recognize people for sure. They do recognize people. They do form bonds with people as well, just because they're not as expressive as other animals, but they do form bonds. They do understand us, for sure. Yes. All right. I think we've covered quite a bit for today. If you have any other questions, you can let me know. You can DM me. Yeah, and if there's anything, please get in touch with us, and do not wait for your pet to get really sick and not eat for a month before you take them to the vet. All right. Where we are all here to help you, so let us help you. All right. So okay. Yeah, web merits, I really wish I could talk to animals too, but I do my best with what I have. So all right, thank you so much everybody for tuning in. It's been a great session. Thank you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.